My name is Dr. Shenia Suggs, and I am the Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources in Wayne Township Schools. I'm excited to be with you to share some information about an incredible journalist and activist from our American history. Before I do that, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm right here from the city of Indianapolis, and that's where I went to school K through 12th grade. And when I graduated from high school, I then went to DePaul University in Greencastle, Indiana, and I got my English license and my teaching degree, and I taught high school English at Ben Davis. I then went on and got my master's degree and my principal's license at Butler University here in the city and became assistant principal at what is now known as Lyndhurst 7th and 8th grade center. I then moved on to the Education Center where I've done several district administrative positions, but most recently in the Human Resources Department and have been there since 2009. And during that time, I completed my coursework to earn my doctorate in educational administration from Indiana University in Bloomington. I'm also a very proud resident and wife and mom of 3 children who came through Wayne Township schools and graduated and received a wonderful education and have gone on to do great things in their own personal lives. And now I'd like to share with you information about Ida B. Wells-Barnett. Ida B. Wells was born in Holly Springs, Mississippi on July 16th, 1862. She was born into slavery during the Civil War, and once the war ended, Wells-Barnett's parents became politically active in Reconstruction-era politics. Her parents instilled into her the importance of education, and Wells-Barnett enrolled at Rust College. Unfortunately, during that time, a pandemic occurred, and known as the yellow fever, and it took both of Wells' parents and her infant brother. She was left then to raise her brothers and her sister, so she took a job as a teacher so that she could keep the family together. Eventually, Wells-Barnett moved her siblings to Memphis, Tennessee, and there she continued her work as an educator. In 1884, Wells-Barnett filed a lawsuit against a train car company in Memphis for unfair treatment. She had been thrown off a first-class train, even though she had purchased a ticket, and she won the case on the local level. Unfortunately, the ruling was eventually overturned in federal court. Wells wrote about issues of race and politics in the South. A number of her articles were published in Black newspapers and periodicals under the moniker Iola. Wells eventually became an owner of the Memphis Free Speech and Headlight, and later of Free Speech. In 1892, after 3 friends of hers had been lynched by a mob, Wells began an editorial campaign against lynching that quickly led to the sacking of her newspaper's office. She continued her anti-lynching crusade, first as a staff writer for the New York Age, and then as a lecturer and organizer of anti-lynching societies. She traveled to speak in a number of major U.S. cities and twice visited Great Britain for this cause. In 1895, she married Ferdinand L. Barnett, a Chicago lawyer, editor, and public official, and adopted the name Wells-Barnett. They would later to go on and have 4 children together. From that time, she restricted her travels, but she was very active in Chicago affairs. Wells-Barnett contributed to the Chicago Conservator, her husband's newspaper, and to other local journals, published a detailed look at lynching in a Red Record in 1895, and was active in organizing local African American women in various causes from the anti-lynching campaign to the suffrage movement. From 1898 to 1902, Wells-Barnett served as secretary of the National Afro-American Council, and in 1909, she participated in the meeting of the Niagara Movement and the founding of the National Association for Advancement of Colored People, also known as the NAACP. In 1910, Wells-Barnett founded and became the first president of the Negro Fellowship League, which aided newly arrived migrants from the South. And in 1913, she founded what may have been the first Black women's suffrage group, Chicago's Alpha Suffrage Club. From 1913 to 1916, she served as a probation officer at the Chicago Municipal Court. Wells died of kidney disease on March 25th, 1931, at the age of 68 in Chicago, Illinois. Wells left behind an impressive legacy of social and political heroism with her writings, her speeches, and protests. Wells fought against prejudice no matter what potential dangers she faced. If you'd like to read more about Ida B. Wells-Barnett, I found this information in several places: the National Women's History Museum website, also the Britannica, and biography.com. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this.